Welcome to the Change Your POV podcast. You're listening to Headspace and Timing, a show dedicated to breaking down the stereotypes of veteran mental health. I'm your host, Duane. Let's get ready to make sure that your headspace and timing set correctly. Hey everybody, welcome to Headspace and Timing. If this is your first time listening, then thanks for checking us out. As many of you who serve know, the M2 machine gun, the 50 cal, is one of the greatest weapons in the military's arsenal. If the weapon's headspace and timing isn't set right, however, it's just a huge chunk of metal. Veterans can be rendered inoperable if their headspace and timing's not set correctly either. That's my mission here, to raise awareness about veteran mental health and reduce the stigma against seeking support. Each week we'll talk about different aspects of veteran mental health and interview mental health professionals that are working with veterans, service members, and their families around the country. Hey folks, welcome to episode 2 of Headspace and Timing. My name is Duane, and I'll be your host. As we start to move through the idea of what we're going to be doing with this podcast, these first couple episodes I wanted to dedicate to a little bit more of an understanding about how I view veteran mental health, what I see that it can be, what it can do, and how it can help veterans. And if you'd listen to episode 1, you'll hear some of my thoughts, some of my beliefs about veteran mental health. But one of the most critical thoughts that I have is the fact that veteran mental health doesn't mean you're sick. It doesn't mean that you're broken. It doesn't mean that you're damaged. There are ways to be mentally healthy and mentally well as there are ways to kind of fix or address some of the challenges that we're experiencing. Today I want to give you another point of view that I have about one of my guiding principles, and that's talking about the Audacity Principle. And the Audacity Principle is something that has been brought up several times, both in the military and in the civilian community, in industry, in education, and politics. So I thought that I would just kind of lay some of it out and let you know what I'm thinking about as far as what the Audacity Principle is and what the Audacity Principle means. You know, if you're just starting to listen to the Headspace and Timing podcast, definitely appreciate your participation, taking the time, the very valuable time that you have to listen to us. But I also want to say thank you to Eddie and Bennett from the Change Your POV Network podcast. If you're just now starting to listen to the Headspace and Timing show as part of the Change Your POV podcast network, I want to thank you for your time. I recognize that your time is valuable, and in choosing to spend it with me and learn a little bit more about veteran mental health and wellness is extremely appreciated. As well, I wanted to extend my appreciation to Eddie and Bennett of the Change Your POV podcast network, because they definitely believe in the Audacity Principle, and that we as former service members, as veterans, have a need to understand mental health and wellness, and so they exercise the Audacity Principle in inviting me on the show and bring in a group of us to provide a different set of perspectives on the post-military lives of veterans. And so if you, like I do, appreciate what Eddie and Bennett are doing for veterans, then I recommend you go take a look at their website at changeyourpov.com, and especially head over to the changeyourpov.com Patreon page to see how you can support and what benefits you may receive from supporting the Change Your POV podcast network. So if you appreciate the content, if you appreciate the discussions, then please go take a look at the changeyourpov.com/Patreon page, and then you can see how you can support the excellent information that's coming your way. So as I mentioned before, I wanted to talk about the Audacity Principle. The Audacity Principle is something that I experienced, and it's not anything specifically that I came up with, although I have refined it a little bit over the years. I first came across it when I read a book called Not a Good Day to Die. And if you haven't read that book, it's probably one of the best accounts of the early intervention in the Afghanistan conflict, especially the interaction between the Special Operations Forces 160th and the task force guys. And this is about Operation Anaconda and the attempt there to capture bin Laden in the mountains of eastern Afghanistan. And so while the book is amazing, one of the key pieces that really attracted me there was I think it was Gary Harrell had always said that he wanted people to exercise the Audacity Principle. And Gary Harrell had actually gotten it from George Patton. And Patton had said that the three keys to victory in battle are audacity, audacity, audacity. We have a certain, viewpoint of what audacity is. It's that it's some kind of cocky or arrogant. But in this instance, it was a little different. So, in my point of view, the Audacity Principle very specifically is, more often than not, bold and decisive action will bring about a result that is favorable to you unless that action is limited by someone else's authority. Considering that, the fact that bold and decisive action on your part, something that you're going to step out and actually do deliberately and confidently, 8 times out of 10, 9 times out of 10, is going to bring out a result that's favorable to you. It is going to bring you what you want. A lot of people avoid bold and decisive action. A lot of people have an idea that, what if I can't, or what if this fails, or I'm not even going to try because somebody's going to say that I can't do it. And that's not even nearly always the case. And this is definitely in my own personal experience. So I wanted to give you some thoughts on how the Audacity Principle exists in historical concept. Of course, in the military, talking about the Audacity Principle of combat and first strike and being bold in our action there. But it's not like we're always in combat in our daily lives. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to combat. I'm not assaulting an objective on a daily basis. But it works in a political perspective. Winston Churchill was a firm believer in audacity. Of course, Winston Churchill was a wartime leader, but Winston Churchill very specifically did say that the first quality that is needed for success is audacity. It's not just limited to warfare and politics, though. John Dewey, the whole Dewey Decimal System guy, he said that every great advance in science has issued from a new audacity of imagination. The boldness of trying out new ideas. Think about any type of technological innovation. It started with someone saying, I have an idea. How about we try this? That's an audacious, bold, confident stepping out. That's taking a risk. That's being confident in what you think and what you believe, and stepping out and doing something. We have robots running around on the surface of Mars today because someone somewhere said, you know what, this may not work, but we're going to try it anyway. And that's where the Audacity Principle is. The thing about the Audacity Principle is many people try to avoid bold and decisive action because of self-doubt. And that does not lend itself to mental health and wellness. The doubts that we allow to creep in, the thoughts that this won't work, or it's not going to happen, or there's no way possible that somebody's going to give me a chance. The primary aspect of the practical application of Audacity Principle is confidence. You have to be confident in your delivery. You don't have to be cocky. You don't have to be arrogant, but you have to be confident in what you want, assuming that your action will bring about the desired outcome is key, because most of the time it will. Exercising the Audacity Principles landed me jobs, internships, grants. The idea of the cold call, the cold email, stepping out, taking a chance. Even this podcast came about as a result of the Audacity Principle. Eddie Lazary reached out to me and said, hey, I have this idea. He didn't question whether or not I would or wouldn't, or could or couldn't. He was like, you know what, this is what I think, and this is what I believe. My fellow host, Jeff Adamek, over at the Changing Hearts and Minds show, Jeff Adamek, a firm believer in the Audacity Principle, as he was the first one to step out to Eddie and Bennett and say, hey, what do you think this might do if we all get together and have different kinds of shows? So the Audacity Principle, that stepping out with confidence, even though the answer may be no, and it may even be the ability to take the no, the challenge of overcoming that fear of no, that's going to be something that's a little difficult. The problem with the Audacity Principle is knowing how far to take it. And injudicious application of the Audacity Principle can get you in a lot of trouble. If I'm audacious enough to think that if my bold and decisive action is that I'm going to go 95 down the highway, my audacity is going to be limited by the authority of the Highway Patrol. It's going to be limited by what's clearly posted that I shouldn't be doing this bold and decisive action. So understanding what those limits are going to be key to exercising the Audacity Principle. Jean Cocteau had said that tact in audacity is knowing how far you can go without going too far, without going up against someone else's authority. And a lot of times that happens in our military life. Happened a lot in our military life. Happens a lot in our civilian lives. That maybe we might overstep our bounds. Then we kind of know what the authorities are. I was as my military career was winding up, I actually had an opportunity to go to North Africa. With an element of special forces, and my job was to supervise the establishment of camp. There's going to be a base of operations for a multinational training exercise. I was in charge of logistics and support. My buddy, fellow E7, he was in charge of security and force protection of the camp. He and I worked directly for the team leader or the team sergeant. And he was in charge of the entire camp. When we first got there, the only thing that was on the ground was a handful of half-constructed buildings, a fence, and a bunch of sand. Within 2 months, we constructed a fully functioning camp. And through those 2 months, I was exercising the Audacity Principle daily. Things are going to go here, things are going to go there, this is what should be done, this is what shouldn't be done. And there were a couple of times that my audacity came up against the camp commander's authority. He was like, no, we're not going to do that, or who put that over there, who said that's the way this thing is going to be, and I very clearly said, hey, you know what, it was me, and he met my audacity, let's say, my my confidence with a very clear and definite no. Got it? A, one, you're the boss. B, that didn't discourage me because 9 out of the 10 things that I wanted to get done were done, and I was able to accept the no. You think about leaders throughout history, and some of the most respected leaders throughout history. Stonewall Jackson, the Civil War general, is a universally respected figure. And he was intimately familiar of exercising audacity within limits. Someone once said about Stonewall Jackson was that he would act boldly in harmony with the intent of his higher level commander. And so that idea of I'm going to be bold, I'm going to be audacious, I'm going to step out, I'm going to do something with confidence, while understanding what the limitations of my environment or even understanding the limitations of my experiences. That's the key to being able to get things done the way you want to get them done. The ability to exercise audacity within the limits of authority is what will ensure your success. And so the concept of the audacity principle is one that I think that veterans can take advantage of, that we can benefit from. The idea of I can't or I shouldn't or I won't have to, those kind of defeatist thoughts are not helpful. They're not beneficial to us getting what we want done. They are, by very definition, defeatist. And so in this situation, the mindset that we have, the way that we approach the world, the way that we approach relationships, the way that we approach employment, all of these different things, if we approach them in a defeated manner, in a negative manner, then we will be defeated and we will think negatively. Instead, if we exercise the audacity principle, if we exercise the idea that bold and decisive action is going to bring out a favorable result, unless that action is limited by something outside of our control, then we will be successful in our post-military lives. As I work with veterans as a mental health counselor, this is what I try to tell them to do. I said, take the mindset of I can't, I shouldn't, I won't, the self-limiting concepts that we provide to ourselves, and instead, what would happen if we did? You're working on a book, right? Everybody has a story inside of them. Contact the publisher. What's the worst thing that could happen? They're going to tell you no. But even in that no, and for whatever no their reasons are, that's now you know a limit. And what did you learn as you were going through that process? What did you understand when you had that limit imposed upon you? Asking for a raise, asking for more authority in a new position, showing that you can take on a new project. There's different times where I've come in and said, you know what, this is what I'm going to do. Not that I'm asking, but this is what I'm putting forward to a proposal. This is, I think that this would help us out. I think that this would be better for my clients. I think this would be better for our organization. The idea behind the audacity principle is not one that you should be exclusively beneficial to you, of course. You can exercise the audacity principle on behalf of your organization. Unless, again, of course, there are rules against, you don't want to be audacious enough to jack up the prices without checking with the marketing team or things like that. Again, the fact that there are other people that have authority over those decisions that would limit your bold and decisive action. And so the audacity principle is not one to say, how dare you? How dare you be audacious enough or who has given you the authority to do this kind of thing. Assume the authority, accept responsibility, and that's one thing that veterans have to be able to bring to their post-military environment is we do engage in bold and decisive action. We do understand the necessity in taking calculated risks. And if we're looking to establish ourselves in our post-military lives as the leaders that we were when we were in the military, then the Audacity Principle is going to take us much farther than anything else we could have done. So that's it, folks. That's the Audacity Principle. Much of this has been developed in my military career, and I've taken it and applied it successfully to my post-military career. I have written about this on my blog at veteranmentalhealth.com. The thing that I used to tell my soldiers is audacity is a key to victory in battle. And that's one thing that I picked up from that book, from Gary Harrell, that's what he used to say. The idea of swift boldness of action was that is the key to victory in that battle, but also in life. And it is the key to victory in life. It's a key to finding a peaceful, more stable, more... Audacity is the key to victory in battle and in life, and it's a key to finding a more peaceful, more stable life, and a life of wellness. So as you can see, I personally don't believe that veteran mental health has to do just with PTSD. The concepts of post-traumatic growth, the concepts of things making us stronger, exercising audacity, exercising boldness, exercising confidence in our lives is as key a component in veteran mental health as trying to rid ourselves of our weaknesses. So go forward and do something audacious today. I don't know what it is. You could be starting a business. You could be just stepping out and trying something new. I'd love to hear about it. You can go on over to changeyourpov.com where this episode will be on the Headspace and Timing show page. And leave a comment. Tell us what you think about the Audacity Principle. I'd love to hear what you think the Audacity Principle means to you, how you've exercised it in the past, or maybe how you plan on exercising it in the future. So I'd love to hear from you. You can also reach out at veteranmentalhealth.com where the show notes will be posted there as well. And figure out how to implement the Audacity Principle in your life today. Thank you very much, and I look forward to speaking to you next time.